Hey everybody, welcome to Localite. Thanks for joining me. You know, when I think of having little needles poked into my body in random places, I don't necessarily associate that with a relaxing experience. However, Carola Stepper of Cascade Acupuncture Center, where they also have a location in Hood River and the Dells, is here to explain why it's not only relaxing, but it can relieve stress, anxiety, and even in some cases, heal and cure people. So, Carola, thank you so much for coming on. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get right down to it. How does sticking needles in people's bodies actually heal and in some cases cure?
Well, I can direct you in another tangent. It has worked for 3,000 years. So
Okay.
the question is, why is it still around? Because it works. So that's the first thing. And the answers that I usually give is it makes the body release endorphins. And you're an athlete, right? You know all about endorphins. You like endorphins.
I do.
However, you never get to experience them when you are in a resting situation because you are active. So the endorphins make the person relaxed, happy, because they're natural antidepressants. You know, when people are depressed in winter because there's no sun, they go for a walk, they feel better. Why? Because of the same endorphins.
Okay.
Right? And the other thing that acupuncture does, it increases circulation in the area that needs healing. So nobody needs to go to medical school to understand, well, if I have good blood supply in a body area that needs healing, that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
And the third thing is, do you believe your body has the ability to heal itself?
I do.
Correct. So if you cut yourself in your finger, do you need to tell your body what to do to fix this cut? No, the body knows that. It always tries to reach homeostasis, which is the Western medical term for balance. So acupuncture supports that process, which makes it incredibly safe because you cannot overrule the body's wisdom.
Wonderful. So why did you, I mean, those actually all sound like wonderful, wonderful reasons to get involved, but how did you get involved in it and why?
Okay. So I first went to medical school in Germany. First I went to nursing school, then I went to medical school, and then I moved to the States and worked as a nurse. I actually lived in Maui for 3 years. And I always had this drive, I wanted to go back to school. And then I moved to Portland, Oregon, and there was a naturopathic college, a chiropractic college, and an acupuncture college, which was pretty amazing. And I investigated all of them, and acupuncture stuck out to me, no pun intended, as being very unusual, totally different, very simple, effective, and not related or not based in the Western medical model. So, and I had a girlfriend who was very excited about being an acupuncturist, and I talked to her, and so that got me inspired.
Okay. Well, so when did you actually start your own center, and why your own center versus working at somebody else's or something?
Okay. So right out of graduate school, I did a number of different things for quite a few years. I worked in people's homes, I worked in a hair and nail shop, I worked in a senior center, I was Goldendale's first and only acupuncturist, but all of those things I was an independent contractor.
Okay.
I also worked at Mid-Columbia Medical Center here in the Dalles for 4 years, treating the cancer patients undergoing chemo and radiation, and I was actually an employee at MCMC. And then there came a time where my practice in Hood River, basically the business situation went awry, and I had to make a choice to either lose my business or start a practice. And that's when I hired my first employee, and that was in August of 2005.
2005, okay. Now you employ a technique or a practice called Distal? Is that correct? Am I saying that right? No.
Close.
How is it correctly said?
Distal.
Distal,
Yes.
okay. And what does that mean?
So distal is a Western, or is an anatomical term actually, meaning far away from the center of the body. So this is proximal, and the center, this is far away. So what it simply means is the specific style of acupuncture we practice, we do not put the needles where the pain is. So a lot of people would expect us, if the low back is hurting,
That's where you're going to put the needles.
correct, we would have to put people face down on a massage table and, remove the clothing in the low back area and put pins in the low back. We don't. We pretty much treat anything in the body by putting the pins below the elbows and below the knees.
Really?
And it's simply a different style. Think of going to 3 different massage therapists. Will they do the same thing?
No.
No, but it will all be good and it will all help, right? It's the same with chiropractic or with acupuncture. They are different styles. They're all great. They all work. The particular one we practice is originated by a man named Dr. Tan. He's from Taiwan. He now lives in California. He teaches nationwide and internationally, and all of us acupuncturists have been studying with him for quite a while.
Okay.
And what he does works better and faster for pain, and it's more convenient, and that's what convinced me. So that's why we do it.
Okay. So it's always below the elbow or below the knee.
Correct.
Now, how exactly, I mean, because it seems odd that you'd be able to address maybe a low back pain by putting needles maybe, I don't know,
here,
in the,
and here, and here.
Okay. And why is that?
Think of it this way. If you have a light at the ceiling, right? Where's the switch?
Somewhere else in the room on the wall.
Somewhere else. Do you question it?
No.
No. And you just know there's a connection. Another powerful example, you have your little key and you put it in the car ignition. What happens? Something pretty big. A huge motor starts. So there's other examples where the effect does not have to be created where you want it to happen.
Okay, okay. And you do everything in like reclining chairs?
We have two different ways, locations where we treat. We have what I call regular treatment rooms, which is what people expect, which we have a massage table and a person is by themselves in that room. We also have in each clinic a room with 4 leather recliner chairs with massage and heat pads.
Oh, very nice.
And lavender eye pillows. And because the most undressing that ever happens is taking shoes and socks off, hiking up pant legs, hiking up sleeves, we can treat them in recliner chairs. And let me tell you, you don't need to turn 80 to realize that a recliner chair is a fine place to hang out for 45 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's probably very reassuring for folks, too, knowing they don't have to, you know, undress to an uncomfortable level to be treated.
Correct. Well, the other thing, you can come with your spouse or with your friend and be in the treatment space at the same time, which is a pretty neat experience to share, which usually you don't get to share because there's only individual rooms.
Okay. Okay. Well, it definitely sounds, I'm starting to get this now. It sounds relaxing. So, and I want to talk to you when we come back from the break about something I believe you refer to as Aculand.
Oh, yes.
So we'll talk about that. We're talking with Carola Stepper of Cascade Acupuncture Center here on Localite. We'll be right back.